Right guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another video. In this one I'm just going to be showing you how to change the rear wheel bearings in your DT Swiss E1800 disc rear wheel. So let's go ahead, let's take a look. So we have the rear wheel E1800 DT Swiss. So this needs the rear wheel bearings doing in this. So this has been converted, so it's got a 6-bolt disc on it, but it's a centre lock wheel, so it's got the conversion piece on there as well, and it's a quick release rear wheel. So yours could be through axle. The same thing applies, you just need to remove the end cap, so it's the same if it's through axle or like this one, quick release. For both sides the end caps have got to come off. So if your wheel's been serviced properly, then you should be able to just put your hand behind the cassette like that and literally pull on the cassette. Might have to pull it quite hard, and you should be able to pop the cassette off like that, leaving the end cap in there, and then you'll just have the freer body inside the cassette like that. I'll put a link up on the screen in case yours is stuck on there for any reason and you're struggling to get that off. There's various ways you can get this off, but I'll put a link on the screen for a video about that. So once you remove that, you've just got the spacer there on the axle. You need to remove that as well, put that to one side, and then like I said, on this side you just need to remove the external ring on there. So we've got a spanner for that. Just get that on there. Because this has been converted and it's got the outer ring on it like that, you've got these, because it's a 6-bolt disc, you've got these little pegs sticking through there around. If you try to use an external socket over that, then it won't bite on anything because it's hitting on there, so it's harder to get it undone with one of those. So one of these spanners like that just sits on there better without slipping off, and you can hold it in position like that when you're pushing down on it to undo it. So if I remove that ring, you'll see it's a 6-bolt disc. And it's got the converter on there where it's a centre lock. So obviously you need to get the end cap off of there as well. Now you could try pulling it off with your hand like that. As you can see, it's not going to come off. So if you've got a vice, what you need to do is put some soft jaws in the vice preferably, and just clamp it on the end there in the vice, so the wheel's lying in the vice like that. Then clamp it up and then hold on to the rim like that, and then pull up in the vice like that. If you haven't got a vice, what you can do is get a piece of cloth or rag around there and get a big pair of pliers and hold on the end so you don't damage it, just on the end there, and try and pull it off that way. So that's the way you can get those off, but whichever way, that's got to come off. So there we have the end cap removed. Like I said, it doesn't matter if this was a through axle, it's the same thing applies. You got to get that cap off, just pull it off of there. Now what we need to do is get the axle removed, so I'll go ahead and show you that. So as you see here, I've got 2 blocks of wood on a hard surface. Now if you've got a bench, a good bench, you can put the blocks of wood on a bench and do it that way. I'm just showing you on the floor like this, so you don't necessarily need a bench to do it. What you got to do is the axle's got to come out through the bottom. So if you notice the axle there, you can see it is flush with there. So if you hit that, it's not going to come out through there. So you can either, to get it started, if you've got to drill a hole in a block of wood like that, then what you can do is put that block like that and then just put that over the centre there just to get it started like that. Obviously what you can do as well, if you haven't got a hole in it like that, you can just get 2 blocks of wood and just put that the wheel with the hub down like that, so as the axle's got room, because obviously the bearing needs to come out, so just to get it started so you know it's going to move, you put that like that, and then it does the same job as just putting it over there, because the bearing's up inside there, so it's got quite a way to go before it'll actually come out to start with. So you just place that down like that, and then what you've got to do is hit on the axle there. Obviously don't use a metal hammer, because if you damage that axle on the end, you're not getting your free up back on there again. So you hold it like that and hit down on there, a soft blow hammer or big rubber mallet. And the axle starts to move down like that. You see the bearings now flush with the end, and you might be able to pull it out like that. If you can't pull it out like that to start with, just hold your wheel up off the block, and then just give it a tap on there just to get it to come out. Like I say, this one's just come out like that, and then the axle will pull through, and that's the this side bearing with the axle. So all you do is you just slide that bearing off of there, off the axle. Just, it should pull off of there if it's not too bad. This one's rough and it's probably slightly stuck on there, so in that case I'll just show you how to get that off in case yours is stuck and you can't move it like that, it's stuck on the axle. So to remove the bearing off of there, all we got is blocks of wood equal heights. See, so when you put the axle down, it's not hitting the bench or the floor, so you just put that in there like that, and then rest the bearing on them 2 blocks, and then if you tap on the axle with your soft blow hammer there, you can see it comes on down. There you go, you should just be able to move it like that. So to remove the free up side bearing that's in there, so the right hand side, what you need to do now is the axle's out of the way, is put your block of wood down, and then if you rest the wheel flat with the hub on the wood like that to protect the hub, then what you need to do is get yourself a 17mm socket, deep drive socket like that, and then that just sits down inside the centre of the hub and rests on the bearing in the bottom there. So if you hold that on there like that, and then again what you got to do is hit down on that socket there and push the bearing down till it's flush with the block of wood. So you just keep doing that, hit it down until it comes out and it's flush in here. The ring that's in there on these hubs, you don't have to remove that ring, the bearing will come straight out through the middle of there on this type of one. If it was a 240 or 350 ratchet hub, this is a 3-pull, so on the 3-pull you don't need to remove it. On the ratchet ones you have to remove that ring. So once the bearings come out so far, as you can see, it'll be out like that, and it'll be obviously hitting you on your block of wood. So to get it out, the last bit, just hold it up off of the block, and then give it a tap like that, and then there's your bearing from the free hub side. So now we've got both bearings out, what you got to do is clean up inside the hub where the bearings are going to sit, get all the old grease, dirt or rust out from in there before we put the new bearings in, and clean up your axle as well. So we've got the hub cleaned up, so what we want to do is put some grease, a smear of grease there where the bearing's going to sit in the hub, so on both sides. And what we do is we do the free hub side first. So get your bearing. Obviously only use quality bearings, don't use any cheap ones, they just don't last. Always use good quality bearings, otherwise you're wasting your time with the cheap ones. So we put a smear of grease just around the outside of the bearing there, and then on the side that you don't see, it's inside the hub, I'll put some over there like that, and then all we do is we just sit that in where that tooth ring is, so just sit that in place, so it's just resting there like that. And then what we need to do is press that one into the hub. So with your correct size adapter for this side, and then what I'm using is an adapter on that side that just fits inside where the disc would be in the hub. This side just sits in there like that, and this side obviously is the correct size for the bearing. So we'll just get that set up and go ahead and press that one in. So make sure when you're pressing it in, it's going in straight, it's not going in crooked at all. And you can just go ahead and wind that one in until it passes inside that ring and goes into where it seats. And once it's in there, obviously it will stop going in as soon as it's hit the bottom. So that's stopped. So just back the tool off and remove that, then we do the left hand side. So before we put this side bearing in, what we need to do is on your axle, the long part of it there, so we need to put that back up through the bearing we just fitted. So we just put some grease around there where it's going to sit on there to slide it through like that first, and then on this side, the short end there, just put some grease around there. It's easier to get to now while it's out of the hub. You just get that, and obviously you've got your bearing you just put in, so we need to go through from the disc side and then into that bearing we just fitted, then and just put that on through like that until it stops. So ready to put the bearing in here. Obviously on that side it's just sticking out like that where your free hub would go. So with this one, same thing again. Do is just get the bearing, just put a smear of grease around the outside of it like that, and then on the side you don't see inside the hub again, just put some grease over the seal of that. Just helps keep the moisture out. And then we just drop that over there. Obviously it'll slide down over that axle a little bit. Now we're ready to go ahead and fit that bearing into the left hand side. So as you can see, the axle's just sticking out slightly, and as that bearing goes in, you can't use normal press on there as you would, because you're just hitting against the end of the axle. You won't be pushing anything in. So what we need to do is just adapt that, so as we've got a ring and then a piece like that. So obviously when that bearing goes down inside the hub, then you're not going to interfere with the axle when you're putting it in. And then on the other side, so you've got your axle sticking out here now, so you just got a small adapter on there so as it protects the end of the axle. So we'll just get that set up. And then we'll go ahead and push that one in. Once you're happy, pressed into this, the bearing stopped, and take the tool back off. You see there's the bearing installed in there, and the one in the opposite side. So just check that the axle moves nice and freely, it's not tight or anything like that, it's not grinding. Obviously you put 2 new bearings in, it should be nice and free moving. So what we'll do now on the disc sides, put some grease over the bearing in there, and then with your end cap, put some grease around the end cap before you push it on, and just up inside the end cap there, it's just a rubber O-ring in there. Just put some grease on that, makes it easy to remove another time. Then we just pop that on there like that. Then we can go ahead and refit the disc. So like I say, if yours is centre lock, you can just put your disc on there and tighten up your lock ring to 40 newton meters. Like I say, on this one it's got the adapter that goes on first, and then you put the disc on and then the lock ring. So first thing we do on the free hub side, just put some grease over your axle like that, and then you've got your spacer sleeve that goes over there, so put that on, and that pushes down to the bottom. And then what you do is, with your free hub itself, just make sure you put some clean off the free hub there, put some grease on the 3 pulls that's sticking out there, and also put a smear of grease up inside where the axle's going to be, up in there, just to help stop it getting stuck on at a later date. And then what we do is we slide that back over the axle. So we just put that back over the axle and push it all the way onto the engages, and then just pop your end cap back in on the end of the axle. Make sure that's pressed on there, otherwise you wonder why you can't get it back in your frame, like that. So that's the wheel bearings all installed now, so you can go ahead and fit the wheel back into your bike. So if you found the video helpful, remember to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for more cycle related content. Till next one, ride safe and I'll see you then.